Hello and Happy New Year, Payne County, Oklahoma, and also Merry Christmas because it's still Christmas. I'm Father Brian O'Brien, pastor of St. Francis Xavier Catholic Church, Stillwater, Oklahoma. I am joined here in the studio by a very special guest. He's been here before. He is the Associate Pastor of St. Francis Xavier Catholic Church. He is Father Robert Duck.
Hey.
There
back
he
by
is.
no one's demand.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Father Kerry, our my trusted co-host, is away. He is with about 8,000 Catholic college students at the Student Leadership Summit in Phoenix, Arizona. And so Father Robert is pinch hitting here in the new year.
Scraping the bottom of the barrel. Let's be honest. How many people did you ask before you asked me?
I asked most of the staff.
Father Emmanuel's out of town.
Yep, I asked most of the priests, and nobody wanted to come to Stillwater because
just be prepared for the lowest rated
here we
podcast episode.
And also, he doesn't have a microphone in front of him, but seminarian Eston Blair is here, who is an OSU grad and a Bishop Kelly grad, and only has 4.5 more years of the seminary. And anyway, he's
going
here.
Back to Meinrad on
he's
Monday.
Here. Yep, going back. It'll be tomorrow.
Yeah.
Back to St. Meinrad Seminary in Southern Indiana, my beloved alma mater. Go Ravens. So anyway, here we are in the new year.
Yeah, new decade.
How was your first? This was your second Christmas as a priest.
Yeah.
But your first Christmas in the parish.
Yeah, it's.
Tell us about it.
It was fantastic. It was great to be in a parish. So I was in a parish last year, just helping out in a parish in downtown London.
People you don't know.
But people I don't know.
Yeah. And they talk funny.
It was a nice experience. But this, I think I told you right after I celebrated the 7:30 Mass on Christmas Day. Like, this was the first Christmas Mass I got to celebrate. I celebrated all the other Masses last year.
Okay, yeah, that's different.
But this was the one where it's like, all right,
you're the celebrant. You're preaching.
So that was super special, and also just see the people I've gotten to know over the past 5 months and right in front of me, and pray for them and to know them, and
very cool.
Just celebrate, the Lord's Nativity with my parish, which our parish.
What did you preach about?
I preached about Jesus.
Good.
Jesus
right.
coming.
I just said Jesus was born, and I sat down.
Yeah, well, that's most profound words.
People were very enamored by it.
No, I kind of, drew parallels between Jesus' coming as a child, the Incarnation, with kind of D-Day. He's declaring war on the enemy, Satan.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's
wow.
It's kind of a
little history.
Yeah, a little history
mixed with a little history.
Yeah, because you make the distinction between D-Day, which is when the Allies knew that the war was effectively over, the Nazis knew it, the people in Europe knew it, but still there's 11 more months in Europe of war until VE Day in May of 1945, and that's basically what we would celebrate as the coming of the Lord in glory, which when the war is finally over.
Yeah.
So.
Wow, I like that.
Yeah.
Was it well received? Did people?
I got a few comments, usually from older parishioners who
the
really
usual.
like the war.
Oh, they
want
an
analogy.
They wanted to.
They like the reference.
I find that if I ever make like a sports reference, I just know who's coming up to me after Mass to. Yeah. I didn't know you liked that sport. I'm like,
But it's Jesus came because, we were worth rescuing. I mean, it's the gospel in its most simple form.
I love
it. Like we are worth redeeming.
Nice.
Yeah, we're inherently good.
Amen to that. Yeah. So that's Christmas is just a wonderful time. I mean, the church is beautifully decorated.
Oh, I've never seen the church more beautiful than it is right now.
Did a great job.
Gorgeous.
We have this awesome group of we call them sacristans, who whatever is happening in the church, they are on it.
Yeah, they get the church all ready and decorated for whatever the occasion is.
Whatever the occasion.
And it is absolutely gorgeous. And it was a huge team that spent several hours together.
Yeah, on that Sunday.
Yeah.
It was the Sunday right before Christmas. Anyway, it was awesome. So here we are. We're in the new year, a new decade. Although there's some controversy about that, of whether the decade actually ends.
Oh, yeah.
2020 or 2021. We won't get into that today. But it's 2020, Epiphany coming up. So the Magi, the three wise men coming to visit Jesus. Then the next Sunday is the baptism of the Lord, which ends the Christmas season. Then we get a little ordinary time, and then what is it? February something. We start Lent.
February. Lent. Yeah.
February 20, whatever that Wednesday is, 20 something, 25th, 6th. Anyway, one of those. So it's still Christmas, which blows people's minds. I told people last Sunday I shed a little tear when I see Christmas trees out on the curb before the Christmas season is over.
In anticipation, like those three figurines of the wise men should be still approaching that.
Right. They haven't even, the wise men haven't even gotten there yet.
Yeah.
So I get out of my car and I go and I give the tree in the gutter, I give the tree a hug, and then I get back in my car and I cry, and then I move on with my life. But it's the way that goes. So Christmas we celebrate, as you talked about, we celebrate kind of Jesus, the Incarnation.
Yeah.
What is that? What is that word?
So
if people aren't familiar with that.
Incarnation is kind of this big word to say that Jesus took on flesh. When we go to a Mexican restaurant, we order carne asada. It means flesh.
Okay,
it's the enfleshment of God. Oddly enough, like Christmas gets called the Feast of the Incarnation, but wouldn't that be the Annunciation?
Well, yes, and I think we, so if you don't, so Christmas is December 25th, March 25th, coming
9
up
months
here,
before.
9 months before the birth is when Jesus really, really took on flesh, in that he was conceived.
Yeah.
And so Christmas gets way more attention than does
Feast of the Annunciation.
The Annunciation. It's not even, Annunciation isn't even a holy day
of obligation.
No. But I think Christmas is a bigger deal. And I think in the same way that like we celebrate, I don't know anybody who's like, today's my conception day. Like,
that'd be a little weird to celebrate. But nevertheless, it is a profound time to meditate on the Incarnation. St. Francis of Assisi did. That's where we get the whole tradition of the nativity scene. It was from St. Francis of Assisi, who really was meditated on the poverty and the lowliness of Jesus' coming in flesh. And it's so what we believe as Christians is that God, the second person of the Trinity, became man, became a human, and not just a divine person wearing a suit of flesh, but he actually became a human person.
Say more about that. Like what?
So he took on a human soul.
Right.
I mean, he became a fully human, just like you and I. It's anybody else who's ever lived, a full human, but he was also 100% fully God, second person of the Trinity, consubstantial with the Father, as we call him. If you know your creed.
Consubstantial with the Father.
Of the same substance, of he's no lesser of a being than the Father himself, just in terms of second person of the Trinity.
Nice.
It's just the Trinitarian taxis, we call it, the order of the persons of the Trinity.
Look that one up. I hope you learn about that, Eston, in seminary. You will when you take Christology.
Yeah.
It'll all happen.
Do you think you'll know more about the Trinity at the end of your class than you do at the beginning? Probably not.
Probably not. Okay, so I guess the question would be then, so Jesus became human. He took on flesh. Like, who cares?
Yeah, what significance does that make?
What difference does that make? Why do we why is Christmas such a big deal?
As the church has believed since the beginning and fought for the belief that Jesus was fully human, was because what God did not assume, take on to himself, was not redeemed. That is, if he wasn't fully human, then humanity isn't fully redeemed. Yeah. And so it always has kind of a salvific end to itself, that Christ became, or God became man to save us. And he had to do so by becoming fully man, you might say. So, but at the same time, the significance means that all of creation is kind of imbued with a dignity entirely new, because God became man. He entered into this thing we call creation that he created from the beginning of time. And so what that means is that when Jesus established a church, he identified with it. He didn't separate himself from it. He is the head of the church, which is his body. Yeah. And so that it has a kind of a
even that, like saying the church is his body,
yeah,
and like Jesus took on flesh. That just that using that we use those same terms.
It's
the whole
founded on
system
the Incarnation is what sets forth the identity of the church, how we understand the church's identity and its relationship to Christ, but also it founds our sacramental system of how we celebrate the sacraments and how we understand the modes of salvation that Christ gave us. Of baptizing, we use ordinary means, water, just everyday things, but they have a spiritual significance, and that it's imbued with a dignity that's given by the Incarnation. By Christ
so the
himself.
normal stuff. So when we talk about the sacraments, I mean, what do we use? Water at baptism. We use olive oil.
Yeah.
Blessed olive oil for the sacrament of anointing. Chrism.
Bread and wine.
Yes, bread and wine. I mean, really ordinary stuff.
Yeah. These are things that you would find in the Middle East at the time of Jesus.
Yep.
There would have been part and parcel of daily life.
And that becomes through the prayers of the church, the power of the Holy Spirit, those ordinary things become something
substantial,
supernatural. Yeah.
It's so. I mean, it's Jesus. Jesus alone is a savior, no doubt about that. But Jesus doesn't save alone. He invites his body to be members,
part of it,
to be a part of that salvific mission that he came and inaugurated 2,000 years ago. And so you and I, as ordained ministers, through the sacrament of holy orders, priests, are have a special role in the church of celebrating the sacraments, of preaching the word. Of also part of our mission is to celebrate to do good works, to charitable works.
Yes, indeed.
So this is a threefold kind of mission of the church: is to proclaim the word, celebrate the sacraments, and charitable works.
So what about someone like Eston, right? Eston he's not a priest.
He is not a priest, not yet at least.
And so is on the path. But what does he just hang out for the next 4.5 years?
Absolutely not.
Or most of the people listening, of course, are not priests.
Certainly, by virtue of being a Christian, being a baptized Catholic, you are baptized into the priesthood of Jesus Christ, not into his ministerial priesthood, but the universal priesthood, you might say. And so you too have a role to play in the church of
Yay, Eston. When we're baptized, we say you're baptized as priest, every person, priest, prophet, and king.
Absolutely.
So from the day of your baptism, there is this mission that's to be lived out in a particular way through your body.
Yeah.
Like, try to do ministry without your body. Try to spread the gospel without your body.
Yeah, we live in a world that is material, but thanks be to God, that material have become means to our salvation.
Yes. Ooh, that's a good way to put it. So it's so that I guess to make the connection of like that. So Christmas, where we celebrate the Incarnation, has very practical consequences to the rest of the year.
Oh, absolutely. It practical consequences to everyday life.
Yeah.
Of how it not only kind of imbues our life with a significance that is utterly supernatural, that we don't just go to church for an hour on Sunday or Saturday evening, and then that's just our spiritual time. The rest of our life is just utterly separated from what we just did that 1 hour. That Christ was fully God and fully man helps us to understand that our life is certainly very human,
the whole thing,
very ordinary,
yes,
but imbued and directed toward a supernatural end.
So we were blessing. We went over last night. We're recording this on a Friday. We went over last night to the Agnew's house. Gina and Rob. Sorry, what? I forgot his name.
It's easy for me to remember. He has a great name.
Gina and Rob Agnew and their kids. So we went and we blessed their house last night. And like when you bless a house, you think, of course, the kitchen and the living room,
the pantry,
but then you
the washroom.
You bless the pantry and the laundry room
Yeah.
and the bathroom and the garage and
the things of ordinary life.
We guess they have
name a part of your house you don't go to.
Hedgehog. You bless their hedgehog.
Yeah.
The Christmas tree
I
and
think
the
that was the
bees.
first-
And they had bees
So that was the first
in their backyard.
hedgehog I ever blessed. Was that?
Those were the first bees that I ever blessed. But so then the question would be like, well, why would you bless? I mean, like a laundry room, that does not deserve.
Yeah, the sanctification of daily life is
God's
like
blessing, but
even folding clothes can be, in its own way, a means of your salvation. Of just we can call to mind that we have been blessed by God to live a life, and that's what Jesus did. He lived an ordinary life. He lived as a carpenter. I mean, he imbued work with a dignity in and of itself. That's
yeah. Because what do we know about Jesus? We know a little of the story of his birth. We know a little of when he was a kid, lost in the temple. We know a little of kind of the home life of Mary and Jesus and Joseph, and then there's this huge gap.
Yeah. Fast forward,
what they call sort of the hidden life of Jesus, and then fast forward to now he's 30 years old. And the majority of the Gospels, that tells his story are those last 3 years of his, of his life. And so what did he do the rest of the time? Was that just wasted? No. I mean, we would say that there's this great dignity to the life of a family that you said, you can find your salvation in
ordinary life,
in laundry.
Yeah.
That when that laundry is folded and washed for a purpose, and that is for the good of your family, for the good of your children, for the good of your spouse.
Yeah.
That can be a holy act.
Yeah, holy work.
The idea, we sat down with the Agnews last night and had, a very beautiful dinner.
Yeah.
And so there it was. It was this family, beautiful family, with priests and the seminarian, and we had dinner and a conversation, and there was a dignity to the whole thing. And granted, I mean, the food was awesome, and they had it all decorated and candles and everything.
They went all out for us.
They went all out. I know, man, that was so good. But there was a dignity in that. I mean, that was like the incarnation of family life, right? Right there in front of us.
Yeah, it was. It's gives a significance to what what we can do every day. Is that to do things with great joy is a tremendous blessing that we have been given by the Lord. Is that it's a tremendous blessing to meditate on, and even folding clothes can be an opportunity to do a you might say not a proper holy hour in front of the Blessed Sacrament, but a holy hour where you can certainly meditate on the hidden life of Jesus.
I think there's a mentality that your holiness is found
only in the church,
only in the physical church building. Now it is. I mean, that's and you got to go. It's an important place to be.
Yeah.
I love the idea of the Eucharist as spiritual food, or going to Eucharistic adoration as a. I've said this before on the show, but like a spiritual radiation. You're getting soaking it in and getting warmed up, so then to be able to go out into the world and
Saint Francis de Sales wrote a great book, Introduction to the Devout Life, and he said that each of us have our own roles. It would be improper for a father of a family to spend his entire day in the church. He needs to be working to provide for his family.
Yeah.
And so does that mean that he's going to have to be less holy than the priest who gets to spend his entire day in the church? Absolutely not. In fact, his role in life has been given to him by God for his own salvation. It's called a vocation. So we are all called to a certain vocation in life, and God has called us to that for our salvation and the salvation of others. A father is called for the salvation for himself, but also for the salvation of his children and his wife. As a priest, we're called for the salvation of others.
Yeah, it'd be improper for you and I to
spend all day with a family.
Have a job at Wendy's.
Yeah.
And you can find your sanctification at Wendy's.
Yeah.
But
with those Baconators.
But shout out to Wendy's. We'll take your royalty payment. Thank you. But it would be improper for us because we have
Yeah.
our job is our own salvation.
It's just a different role.
And the
Same-
salvation of
all have
of
a
the
dignity,
people.
but we just have a different role to play.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
All that from Christmas.
So that's a Christmas gift, a late Christmas gift. I must
Dang.
say, for
Dang, that's amazing. That's amazing. All right, so we're coming up on a Epiphany, and then the baptism of the Lord, and then a little ordinary time, and then we get into Lent, and boom, 2020 is off and running. Kind of amazing.
I know you can't wait to have Father Kerry back. I bet
Well, he's been gone for. The house has been quiet.
it has been.
We've I know we've had like some gatherings that parishioners over and different various groups.
Tis the
and
season for Christmas
parties and Advent stuff, and but Father Kerry, he's kind of been in and out a little bit. But
Yeah,
he
I only saw a glimpse of him the other day when he was here for just
took
a
his
day.
retreat
Yeah.
and then was back for a little bit. Went up to Miami, was back. Anyway, listen next week and you'll probably get the whole.
Yeah.
We'll get the
Full
whole
kit and caboodle.
the whole rundown of
Yeah.
over the last
The fruits of his retreat, probably.
for sure, and it sounds like everything in Phoenix with the Student Leadership Summit is going well. All right, so then last year when you were at Christmas, you didn't preach.
I did not.
Oh.
No. So it was a great opportunity to preach. I
Yeah.
preached one English mass and one Spanish.
Oh
mass.
yeah.
So it was my first time to preach or celebrate a Spanish mass for Christmas too. So that was
But not the last.
not the last certainly, but it was a tremendous blessing to be back home, see family. I've been away. For the past
like
5
I know
years.
you went to like when it was like your mom's birthday
Yeah,
in
yeah.
December,
So I went and saw her. Finally, I got to celebrate her birthday with her on her day rather than
and you said that was the first time in
in probably 9 years.
9 years.
Yeah, because I was in class either whether it's here in the States, we go into Conception Seminary College in Missouri, or I was away in Rome. I'd always have to FaceTime her or something like that.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
no, I got to see my mom. I got to see my brother at Thanksgiving, which was nice. I had, but he stayed back in St. Louis for Christmas, so I got to go see him here pretty soon. I miss my brother. He moved to St. Louis right before I moved.
Oh,
back
that's right.
from Rome.
That's right.
So I was like, well,
What the heck?
you choose it now. As soon as I'm about to move back,
Yeah.
he said, nope, I don't want to see you every
Nice.
day. I'll see.
But there's that, I think it's what's interesting is people sometimes don't. I think sometimes people see kind of priests as, like I saw there was a family the other day, and I was at Walmart in Stillwater, and this little boy was like amazed that I was at the Walmart.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like that I was, and I had a shopping cart like
It's
full
like,
of.
what are you doing here?
Yeah, and it's like I'm buying food for our.
Shouldn't you be
for
in
our
your
house.
church?
Like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just kind of that mentality, and so I think the
Yeah.
same sometimes can be true of priests. And like, oh yeah, you do have a family.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Just because I'm not married doesn't mean I don't have a family.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so, trying to take time away. And I think at least people in Stillwater are obviously super friendly. So I think ask us about
Oh yeah.
our
It's like that.
families.
They're excited to meet my mom when she visits.
All the
and,
time,
So it's I get to be embarrassed by my mom when she comes to visit. She gets to give all the
Tell juicy stories
Yeah,
of
How-
your boyhood and your teenage awkwardness.
Oh gosh, we can skip over those. Those are the hidden years.
The
for a
hidden
good
years
reason.
of Father Ron.
Those are hidden for a good reason.
We have pictures though. There's pictures.
Yeah, me with a mullet when I was a kid.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw that Eston. You got to see that picture. It's
I had long hair up until
next
sixth
year. We're
grade.
gonna put that in the parish directory.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we could do that.
I'm not gonna tell you. I'm the pastor, and I'm just gonna put it in there. I don't have a copy
A
of it.
little
but
throwback Thursday or something
we
like that.
can-
I need to find my first communion
Oh
picture.
yes.
I wonder if my mom can
Maybe
scrounge
we should
that
do
up.
that in the directory, like next to our official, fancy, like
Yeah.
in our jackets.
In my room, I have a picture of my baptism. I was being held by Monsignor Dennis Dorney. I was baptized at St.
That's
Pius
right.
X.
That's right.
May 20th, 1989. Know your baptismal date.
I know mine, December 21st.
Oh, that's good. You just celebrated your
1975.
baptism.
I did.
Awesome.
I did.
What'd you do? That
Good
should
time.
be a bigger celebration than your birthday.
It should, and I always kind of say it's going to be, but then it never turns out that way.
Yeah.
Usually, December 21st is kind of usually a busy. I'm gearing up for Christmas and
Yeah. So
it's
yeah.
the way.
I don't do much for my baptismal
That's the way that
day either.
goes.
It's just should pray for
Because then I don't want to, like,
it.
it's same as, like, when it's your birthday, you do, like, tell everyone, like, excuse me, everyone, it's my birthday. Like, you know, you'd rather, like, people sort of find that out.
Oh,
which your birthday is easy to find out, but your baptismal day, not so much. Maybe we should, like, close the parish and have a big lunch or something.
In March, we're celebrating the church's baptismal day. It's
That's right, March 11th.
So.
That'll be rocking.
And I love how that's during Lent.
Oh, it's right in the middle of Lent, and so it's like we get a little
break.
We get a little break from Lent. It's a solemnity in the parish.
So you're not supposed to fast.
So if March 11th ever falls on a Friday, and you're a parishioner at St. Francis Xavier, then
boom, bam, eat as much meat as your heart desires.
You may go to Wendy's.
Yeah,
all you want, and load up. But anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So we are, again, here in 2020. We're kicking it off. Here on the podcast, we passed a milestone last week of 35,000 downloads, which is kind of fun. So we're on, some of you are listening like on the radio. We're on Sunday mornings at 9:30 on Pete 94.3 and AM 780 here in the glorious city of Stillwater. And then as a podcast on Spotify and Apple and Google and all of those places. Anyway, so we just passed 35,000 downloads, which every time I say that to Father Kerry, he's like, is that good? Is that a lot?
That's going to come to a halt with this episode.
and after this, we'll have 35,004. Yes. One quick shout out to my friend Pam Tupi and her husband Sean and their kids. They live out in California, and they listen to the show on their way to Mass every Sunday. And Pam just sent us, they sent us a check to like support the podcast. And then they also sent us some cookies, which I need to share with you.
Don't bogart the cookies.
Molasses cookies that I'll, anyway, they're...
But 30-minute drive to the church,
that's
quite a...
I don't know how long it takes them to get to maybe
they start it and then they finish
maybe 15 minutes on the way there. But it is California, so there's probably traffic. They probably get in 5 episodes on their way to church. It's the way it goes out there. But anyway, we're very grateful for so many people who listen. We're excited to get the school year going again. So Eston here is going back to school Monday. When does classes start? January 28th, he whispers. So you're going to go back and have a
whole month off.
A little spiritual retreat and kind of all that kind of stuff. And then school starts back here in Stillwater the 18th or the 20th.
Some start Monday, some start later.
I know OSU starts kind of middle of the month, but then the Stillwater schools, I think, start back Monday. Ooh.
Yeah.
Boy. I know our office opens back up, and our ECDC, our preschool, starts up again Monday. So, things are ramping.
Nice to get back into a routine of things.
Yeah, it's been weird. The last couple weeks I've been busy with Christmas and
offices has been closed.
New Year's and office is closed, but we've kind of been.
Yeah, I miss our staff
there. Yeah, they're just all.
I only see them on Sundays now and holy days of obligation.
Home hanging out with their families.
Yeah.
Undedicated. No, I'm just kidding. They truly, but it's the same kind of deal as they work for the church, but their first vocation is to the life of the family.
Yeah.
All coming out of Christmas. So that was kind of this episode of just the idea that Christmas has a lot to do with the celebration of Christmas has a lot to do with the rest of the year, the incarnation that Christ took on flesh. And what does that mean for us? That means that our bodies, our lives, the senses that God has given us are meant to be used.
Yeah, they're imbued
for God's
with
glory.
The supernatural end essence, supernatural way of communing with God. We are not separated from our bodies. We are in our bodies and with our bodies, and we are our bodies, and we are. That's why we believe in the resurrection of the body.
Right. So even like at funerals, when we have a funeral, we pay very special attention to the body. It's not sort of this, let's throw that thing over there. There's a great attentiveness.
Temple of the Holy Spirit. Why shouldn't it be venerated?
And Christ had a body.
Yeah.
Given to him at his conception and given birth by the Virgin Mary at Christmas. That's all we got today. So we're thankful for you listening. We wish you a continued Merry Christmas
And a Happy New Year.
and a Happy New Year.
Happy New Decade.
Go Pokes. Have a great day. God bless you.